Welcome back to Nicholas Comic Corner Classic Less Known Classics. This is episode 1462 and Doubleshot number 1356. Now, I have first a Valiant trade this time. Yes, starting with Valiant this time, not like Valiant second, like before. This is the first one. And a Marvel trade. Okay, this is basically technically the second crossover that Valiant ever did. I can't exactly confirm that. Of basically the current stuff they've done. This is the Valiant. Yes. Written by Jeff Lemire and Nick and Matt Nutt. Yes. They are the writer of this thing. Mostly put, it's basically about the Eternal Warrior. He is an old Valiant character who actually made his debut, like, I think it was basically, this is of course the rebooted version of these characters. Who, let's see, I'm trying to look up here to see what the exact one here. Just making sure here. Yeah, the Eternal Warrior, basically the new version of the character. He made his debut in, the first issue of X-Men of War. Yes. That's when he first showed up, and then he popped up in Archer Armstrong number one. This, of course, is the relaunch book. The first issue, and then a few issues later, that's when he basically makes his first full appearance. Yep, that's simply put, basically, like his first appearance. Of course, this book also has Bloodshot, which I'll talk about more about him later. Now, the original version of the character. Now, the rebooted version made first appearance in his own solo book, because, well, that's basically first showed up there. The original version was a creation of Kevin Von Hook, Dan Parlin, and Bob Layton. Now, that's who created the original Bloodshot. The Eternal Warrior, the original version, was created by Jim Shooter and Don Perlin. The original version of the character made his debut in Solar Man of the Atom number 10. This, of course, was the Valiant version of Solar Man of the Atom. I haven't read that much of the Man of the Atom. He's just a comic superhero from Gold Key. Yes, Gold Key had a line of their own comics, and Valiant basically got the license to publish these characters. Now, the only main character you have here is Geomancer. Yes. Geomancer, of course, is a female character. Yes, she made her debut in Archer Armstrong, Volume 2, Number 6, created by Fred Van Lint, great writer, and Emilia Labacino. Of course, Kate is not the original Geomancer. No, not really. Yeah. They're basically a group of characters who are mostly associated with, well, the Eternal Warrior. That's simply put what these people are. They're basically kind of like modern day warriors. And Kate, I think as far as I can tell, she herself, well, even though she became a actual Geomancer, yeah, in case you're curious, though, which character is she? She's this character right here. That's Bloodshot. Yeah, those people who are reading, like, Valiant Comics in 2012, this is the version people are familiar with. And that's the Eternal Warrior there on the cover. And that's Armstrong, March Armstrong. On the back here, we have X-Men of War. That's him right there. We have one half of Quantum Woody right here. Livewire. Now, a lot of the superheroes who appear in here are simply put not really big play characters here. The Valiant is the name of a group who just appeared for this miniseries. Now, they come together simply put just to take care of an old enemy of the Eternal Warrior, known as the Immortal Enemy. Which, by the way, his rebooted version made his debut at the end of issue 1, and this is what he looks like. I am not kidding. They're supposed to basically say the word from this demon. Yes. And the way it goes in here is that every generation, a Geomancer's life, basically, even though the immortal enemy is defeated by Geomancer, the Geomancer dies. And Yeah, the Geomancer herself does die at the end of this miniseries. Obvious. And, well, the reason why it's called the Valiant is because it involves the entire Valiant universe at this point. Mostly put, like, some of the characters have already made reboot appearances. Like, well, of course, you have the Eternal Warrior, Bloodshot, Geomancer, who, I should point out, though, at one point dated Bloodshot. Yeah, that's the way it is in this continuity. She actually did Bloodshot. Now, she is actually an original character. As far as I can tell for her, I don't think she actually... Well, I don't think she actually previously appeared in the previous continuity. I'm looking up... I mean, there was Geomancers, yes, but aside from her, not really. Yeah, that's the thing. There were Geomancers prior to this. Yeah, in the original era, there were several of them. The Monday one was actually a guy. Yeah, a lot of the ones who are Geomancers are, in fact, all guys. That's simply put how they basically had it. Yep. That's one thing I'm looking at here. Apparently, at one point, well, Armstrong was basically one of the Geomancers. Yes. There was technically one. Yes, one. She made her debut in the first issue of Rise Zero, but this is Kate McHenry. She is the current one. Currently, she goes by the name of Deathmate. You might be thinking, Deathmate? What the heck is Deathmate? It was a crossover that happened back in the early 90s, and they took this name and gave it to a character. Yes, and Deathmate, if you don't know what type of crossover this was a cross between Valiant and Image. Yeah, I'm not kidding about that. Yeah, it's basically a villain version of Kate. Yep. And of course, well, this book has the first Monday appearance as a rebooted version of the Immortal Enemy. Yeah, aside from this miniseries, I don't think he appears. I think he appears in a few other books. Yeah, say for this miniseries, he appears in one issue of Bloodshot Reborn, Bloodshot USA, and the final issue of the most recent Bloodshot book. Yeah, I think it's most like a flashback. Yeah. But in case of this miniseries overall, it's really good. Thoroughly enjoyable. I do recommend it to people fans of Valiant Comics. It's really good. And this is something I think is quite interesting. Now, I pointed this out to the comic store I bought this from today. It's only $9.99. Yes, Valiant trades are this jerk cheap. Normally trades, if it's from their company, usually it's like $15-20. Nope, this is like $10. Yep, that's how much this was. This other one, now the next one here is not something I actually have from the library. This is Invincible Iron Man, My Monsters. This collects Invincible Iron Man 500.1. The annual for this volume, and material from Invincible Iron Man 503. Now, how they present this order of this trade is quite interesting to say the least. Okay, they first start. Now, everything here is written by Matt Fraction. I should point out about that. Now, the first start with the annual, then 500.1, and then the backup story, How I Met Your Mother, which I think is from 503, and of course, then they put 500 in here. And that's it. Yeah. Now, we have Summer Roku who does basically 500.1 and 500. 500 he does with Frank, well, actually he's a colorist here. We have the annual done by Carmine D. Calmacheto, and it's not the good looking artwork. How I Met Your Mother, that's actually done by Howard Chaykin. Yep. This is Carmine, like, when I show this off, like, what the heck is this? Now, if you read his artwork on Flash, it looks a lot better than this. This looks very sloppy, and it's just quite weird. And this gushy-looking guy made of clay, that's supposed to be the Mandarin. Yes, seriously. It just mostly put just a backstory for the Mandarin. Yeah, that's input what this annual is, and Matt Fraction set him up pretty much to be the main villain of his whole run, which is not a bad idea because he's a big time Iron Man villain. Yeah. And that's what this anime was about. It's all about the Mandarin. Yep. Now, as for 500.1, oh, by the way, fun fact about this 500.1. This was the very first .1 ever released. Yes, this was an experiment Marvel did for a couple years, releasing these .1s. That a lot of books basically release them. Iron Man released just one. Some books basically release like one, like some released 2 or 3. I think the one book that produced like a lot that I could think of was probably Amazing Spider-Man. They put out about 3 of them. Everybody else mostly put out just one per se. A lot of the books did. The only book I can think of that probably didn't, that was publishing at that point, let's see, it was one. It usually they gave it to like a lot of the long running series. They never gave it to books like New Avengers, that never got it. Dark Avengers never got it. Basically, a lot of really big titles got these particular ones. I know Wolverine himself got one. There was also basically Uncanny X-Force got frickin' 2. Yeah, it was 5.1 and 19.1. Sometimes these .1s basically are just standalone issues. Sometimes they could be backdoor pilots to an actual long-running ongoing series. In the case of Uncanny X-Force 19.1, that was a backdoor pilot to the Age Apocalypse series, which was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. And there was, I think it was Amazing Spider-Man. I believe it was 650.1. This issue was basically served as a backdoor pilot to the Venom ongoing series. Yes. Now, what's the point of this issue? It's just basically like a day in the life of basically Tony Stark. That's simply what it is. And normally, the artwork for these issues are not done by the regular artist. This one is. This is done by Sabah DeRoca, who does the artwork for this issue. Yeah, which is quite interesting. A lot of the .1s I've read generally put the artist who's regularly working the book generally does not work on these issues. This is probably by far the only one they actually have where they have the regular artist work on the .1. Usually, and you might find this interesting though, the usual case of these .1s is that they usually get these artists to a standalone artist. Usually these artwork is not very good, but this actually was really good artwork. How I Met Your Mother, it just simply put just the day of, well, it's just Tony Stark is seen now. Now this apparently is how Howard Chaykin draws Tony Stark. It's not bad. I'm not really a fan of the chubby cheeks, but hey, still thin. Yep. Now, here's something interesting though about the covers for 500.1. Like, here's 500, here's 500.1, and then you have 500. Now, this came out the same period of time. Now, this came out the same year as 4 other big triple-digit number issues that came out in 2009. And I think it was 2009, was it? Yeah, I think it was 2009 this came out. I believe it was. Yeah. Because I think it's maybe released in 2010. Let me take a look here. Because I think it was. Okay. I think this was released in... Oh, yeah. It was released in It was actually released in 2011. 10 years ago. Wow. An issue that's 10 years old. Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, one thing I do not know why in the world the series is this for, where 503 has got like 2 stories in it. Yeah, there's like no reason for this. Yeah, but I will review 503 at a later date. Don't worry about that. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think I have reviewed this one. Yeah, I view this as basically Yeah, for some reason on the cover, I'm looking at the cover 503, they consider this a Fear Itself tie, and that's why I think this book has got nothing to do with Fear Itself. 504 does, but I will discuss that in a later video. Yep. Now, this issue is mostly put just... Well, one thing that this issue does interestingly reveal is that Tony Stark is 35. Which, look at him, yeah, I can buy the fact he's 35 years old. It's just basically a team-up story between him and Spider-Man for an issue. That's simple as this, what the issue is. But it's kind of interesting, though, they have all these issues basically shoved into one book. Yeah, it's kind of basically a bit short. I mean, you got an annual, a point one issue, a regular issue, and a backup story. And you're probably thinking, that's it? That's serious all this book has? Okay. Whatever. It's particularly quite weird, but yeah. If you feel a little shortchanged, you kind of do. You don't get an actual story arc. You just basically get a bunch of one-shot issues. Yeah, that's the best way gist of it, this book is. It's kind of weird, but that's simply put how, well, the cover is. The books are. Now, does anything do the main story arc, like goes on Amazing in Iron Man at this point? No, not really. It really doesn't. Yeah, that's the dumb thing about this book, is that there is literally nothing, and I do mean nothing about them. It's mostly like standalone. That's simply what this book is. This is like the cover book. You have Iron Man, Detroit Steel. It's actually Ezekiel Stain. Sasha's basically a lot of good Iron Man stuff. But, yeah, I think the cover is actually 500.1 if I'm mistaken. Let me see here. Yeah, it's 500.1. So basically, this is the cover for the trade. The back issue cover, that is, I believe it is not 500. I think it's, let's see. I think it's a variant cover. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. I think it might be a variant cover. Yeah, I think it's a variant cover, what it is. I think that's what the back cover is. It's just a variant cover of... Yeah, it's a variant of this cover. It's this cover right here, issue 500. Yeah, it's a 500 variant, which is quite interesting. What do I get this? I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's got good artwork. But that's all I got to say about it. These stories are just okay. The Mandarin, the end for the Mandarin, I thought that was quite interesting. The stuff with, 500, we're also having a flash forward to the future. Focus on Jenny Stark. Jenny Stark, and this future is Tony Stark's granddaughter. And apparently her father was Howard Stark II. I thought that was kind of weird. Yeah. But the stuff in here doesn't really advance much of anything, aside from the fact you have a stand sword for the Mandarin. Yeah. But not much to say about it, okay? So yeah, that's a particular review, and that's definitely going to be a video to say. Tomorrow, I expect to see a video for Doctor Who. I'm actually working on one right now. I'm actually about halfway through it right now. A Comic Corner and Shaman King. Because Shaman King's coming tomorrow, okay? See you next video. Bye.